go before the start of the 8th Special Olympics Great Britain National Summer Games here in Leicester, it's very fitting that we have the launch here today of A Sporting Chance, the first ever fully written account of the history of the Special Olympics Great Britain. Congratulations to Sue Barton. Sue. And to Richard Holt, Dick Holt, and Neil Carter from De Montfort University, and John Williams from the University of Leicester, co-directors of the major research project, for which this book is only the first instalment. Very important first instalment, but it's the first instalment, a big piece of work. A special thanks to Leicester City Council and Special Olympics Great Britain for providing the funding for the book, and for all those helping to fund the research project, which includes Councillor Manjula Sood with her Lord Mayor's appeal last year, or the year that's just finished. So thank you all for that. Thanks also to De Montfort University for the design and production of this beautiful book. We're all getting very excited, aren't we? About the start of the Leicester Games with a spectacular opening ceremony. That's it, keep smiling. A spectacular opening ceremony in Walker Stadium on the 25th of July, and a week of real competition and personal achievement by our Special Olympic athletes. These games have the athletes at the centre of all our plans and in everything we do. And this history shows how this has been the main story of the Special Olympics Great Britain from the beginning. If we think of all the athletes who have competed over the last 30 or more years, obviously you haven't been doing it for 30 years, have you? You're certainly been doing it for a few years.
We've been doing it for at least 20 years.
Well, that's fantastic, yeah. But if we think of all these athletes that are featured in this history of the Games, when we recognise the importance of the athlete's oath, let me win, but if I cannot win, let me be brave in the attempt. You know that off by heart, don't you, Rachel? When we hear that oath, when we read A Sporting Chance, this book, and understand what the Special Olympic athletes have achieved, we know that this history is his story, and her story, and her story, and his story, and then we can see how sport can change people's lives. And that's what it's all about. This special book is a real encouragement to our Special Olympic athletes, to their families, to the volunteers, and to all those involved in Special Olympics Great Britain and in the upcoming Games in Leicester. This history and the ongoing research will also provide us with the information and analysis we need to spur us on to continue to fight for the equality in sport and in society which people with learning disabilities have a right to. Well done, Sue, and everyone involved, and see you all on the 25th of July.
Thanks, Ted, for that inspiring speech. And I now call upon Pro Vice Chancellor of Montfort University, Professor Philip Martin.
Thank you very much. I just want to say a few words, because I think Ted has said it all. It seems just a few months ago now, I think it's a little bit more than that, when Laurie McMenemy, who of course plays such an important role in the Games, came to Montfort University to talk to us. And he took the first 20 minutes out of his talk to tell us about the Special Olympics. It was an absolutely inspiring speech. It was a wonderful speech. And I think everybody sitting in the room was utterly riveted by the way in which he spoke for the importance of the Games, for the way in which they rightly celebrate individual achievement, and the significance of the long history, and the connection with Leicester City. So that was something, I think, a particularly inspiring moment for me in understanding the broader significance of the Games. I just wanted to say thank you. It's been a really great partnership, I think, between the city and the two universities. And I think it's been an honour and a real privilege to be involved with this enterprise. I've seen the book. I thought it was really startlingly good. It's a serious academic book. It's available, nevertheless, for everyone to read. It is not written in an obscure or recondite way. It's a good read. It's interesting, it's fascinating, and it's beautifully illustrated. Some really wonderful pictures in there. So we're very proud to be associated with the book. I'd like to say on behalf of both universities that this has been a great enterprise to be involved in, and I wish the Games and all the participants in the Games the very best of luck. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. I'd now like to call upon Professor Richard Holt and Sue Barton to say a few words.
And it will be a few words, because all the words have really been written here already by Sue. I'd just like to say that when we started this project, and when Sue was appointed as the research fellow on the 1st of September of last year, thanks to the support of the Council of Special Olympics and of other donors, to see that this world of sport is properly recognised and celebrated for the first time. There was nothing, when we started there was nothing in September except archives down in London, press records in there.
It wasn't archives, it was bits of paper in boxes.
Well, Sue has always been there to correct me. There were bits of paper in boxes, there are of course newspapers, and there was a whole enterprise in getting a book out that we had a sort of vision of last September and getting it out in time for the Games. Sue has worked really night and day on this, and weekends. A great deal of her work was involved in the picture research in the book, because right from the beginning we wanted the book to tell a story in pictures as well as being an authoritative account of how this movement has taken centre stage in learning disabled sport. So thank you to Sue. It's everything that we hoped it would be. I hope it will be everything that you hope it will be. Information on how to get it will be given to you at the end of the talk. And I'd just like to invite Sue to say a few words about how she did it and the people that she did it with.
Yeah, when I started this project in September, it's something that I hadn't really even thought about how big it would be. I thought, when I saw the few things that were there in boxes, there isn't actually a lot here to use. It's not going to take me very long to go through all these bits of paper. And I put together a text, and then as soon as I started to do that, more and more people started getting in touch with me, and I found more and more things that needed to go into the Special Olympics GB story. And people were so helpful, not just in Leicester, all over the country. I have been travelling up north to find pictures and documents. I've had people contact me via email. I've been to visit some of the athletes at home. I've recorded interviews with them, and some of them are recorded. And then I've used those recordings to get quotations to make the text more real, so that it includes not just the official voice, but the voice of the athletes themselves. And I have been so impressed by the people that I visited. Not just because of what they do in sport, but what they have to do to be able to take part. The organisation that's involved in travelling backwards and forwards, and the commitment not just from them, but sometimes from parents and carers and all the volunteers that are involved in the coaching programmes and getting everybody together at the right time, in the right place for that to happen. That's quite an achievement, and I really, really respect everybody that does that, because I know I couldn't do it. It would be beyond me. And I know some people that don't just do it for one event. They've done it week in, week out for 20 years or so. It is really remarkable what the volunteers and the athletes and their families have done. And I really want to thank them for letting me share in their world, even if it's only been over a few months. They've done it for years and years, and they're the ones that deserve the credit for this. So thank you, everybody.